Good morning.
Hello, this is Breakfast with Charlie Stayt and Susanna Reid.
After the death of Colonel Gadaffi, what does the future hold for Libya?
Across the country, celebrations continued long into the night, but many questions remain over his capture and killing.
Good morning, it's Friday the 21st of October.
On the programme today, we're going to be looking back at Gadaffi's life and getting reaction from Tripoli. In other news this morning.
Do new rules regarding the use of the whip in horse racing go too far? Well, jockeys think so. There's a big row brewing and we expect some important announcements later today. More details later.
Royal Mail will get to set the price of all first-class and some second-class posts. Will it save the business, and what will it mean for the cost of using the service?
Wales regroup as they prepare to do battle with Australia for third place at the Rugby Union World Cup.
The new London to Glasgow bus service with beds on board. Does it get you there feeling rested, though? We sent our reporter to find out.
And the boy wonder taking the music scene by storm. Ronan Park will be singing a cover version of Lady Gaga's Edge of Glory for us just after 9 o'clock.
Wow. And Carol has the weather.
Good morning. Today we're looking at a wet and windy day across the northern half of the country, drier and brighter in the southern half. And I'll have more on that and a full roundup of the weekend forecast in about 15 minutes.
Carol, thanks very much. Good morning. First, our main news this morning. The people of Libya have spent the night celebrating the death of Colonel Gadaffi after 42 years under his rule.
The former leader is due to be given a secret burial after he was captured and killed in his hometown of Stayt yesterday.
While the exact circumstances of his death are unclear, the country's ruling National Transitional Council has denied suggestions Gadaffi was executed.
Well, today NATO will discuss winding down their air operation to protect civilians, which has cost £300 million.
The remains of a convoy of vehicles fleeing Stayt, apparently attacked from the air. NATO said both French fighters and an American Predator drone had been in action, but it couldn't say with certainty which aircraft were responsible for this. Colonel Gadaffi seems to have taken refuge with some of his bodyguards in a tunnel under the road. Injured but alive, he was captured by his enemies. There were chaotic, noisy scenes filmed on fighters' mobile phones. Most are too graphic to show, but it was clear they had captured Libya's most wanted man. They brandished the golden gun said to be his. By the time Gadaffi arrived at hospital, he was dead. Quoting an official forensic report, the Libyan Prime Minister said Gadaffi died from a bullet wound to the head. When the vehicle carrying Gadaffi started moving, said Mahmoud Jibril, it was caught in crossfire between the revolutionaries and the loyalists. It was not possible, said the Prime Minister, to say which side had fired the fatal bullet. One of Gadaffi's sons, Mortasim, was said to have been killed with him. The fate of another, Saif al-Islam, is uncertain. To the Libyans celebrating, fact of the dictator's death was all that mattered. The exact manner was of little importance. NATO officials are due to meet today in Brussels to decide where the mission in Libya goes from here. Andy Moore, BBC News.
Well, our World Affairs correspondent Caroline Hawley is in Tripoli for us this morning. Caroline, very good morning to you. What do we know about what happens now with the funeral or the burial of Colonel Gadaffi?
Well, we know that NTC officials have said that it will be in a secret location. We also know, because we were speaking to them, that officials very late into the night, in the early hours of this morning, said it was still not decided exactly where and how the burial was going to take place, whether it would take place in his hometown of Stayt, where he was captured yesterday, or whether it would take place in Misrata, where his body was taken yesterday and paraded in the town that suffered so much during the war that ousted Muammar al-Gaddafi. So we wait to see exactly how the authorities decide to proceed with this very sensitive burial. Meanwhile, here in Tripoli, the streets fairly quiet so far because Libyans partied very, very late into the night, celebrating this historic moment for their country.
It is obviously a historic moment, but there must be fears now, Caroline, about what happens next.
Well, I think that's right. I mean, there is a timetable now for what happens next. Tomorrow we're expecting a declaration of liberation to be made by the National Transitional Council in the eastern town of Benghazi. Then the authorities have 30 days to form a transitional government, and then 2 years within which to hold democratic elections. But things are pretty chaotic still here on the streets of Libya. This is a country awash with weapons, many different militias and brigades not yet under central command. So huge challenges ahead for Libya, but at the moment they are just basking in the euphoria of the moment. That Colonel Gadaffi, against all expectations, was captured yesterday in the town of Stayt, which had seen so much fierce fighting for it, obviously because they were trying to protect Muammar al-Gaddafi. He's been captured and killed. Libyans say that gives them a decisive break with the past.
Caroline Hawley reporting from Tripoli. Caroline, thank you very much.
Let's have a look at the rest of the day's news.